So Eclipso, yes, the very powerful entity that can rival the Spectre in power, has currently just obliterated the Justice League, and is well on track to take over the Earth and control humanity at large. But this is AJ here at the Hero Informer, and let's see what's happening. So as I said before, not just the Justice League, but also the Justice Society are in a bit of a tough little pickle, because Eclipso, now more powerful than ever, has let them into a trap, and now they are frozen in stone. But luckily, all hope isn't lost just yet, as we see Robin, the youngest and weakest among the entire League and the Justice Society. He is going to be the key to their salvation and eventual perhaps victory, because as Robin goes on to explain, he was ordered to hold back, as he literally watched Eclipso change the League into diamonds. Batman always has a plan, because no one knew what Eclipso might zap them with when they attack, but Eclipso is a magic dude, so at Batman's suggestion, Dr. Fate gave Robin his amulet, charged up with some type of counter magic just in case. Because of course it can. Convenient plot device, something's wrong, whoop, counter magic just to fix it all and whisk it all away. But either way, here it works. Robin activates the little device, and the entire League is freed now. But this is just the beginning. They have a lot of work to do if they have any hope of stopping Eclipso in his plan at world domination. And we see not only Eclipso, but his new meat puppet, Bruce Gordon, who Eclipso is essentially just possessing and taking over. But they are both very powerful, two halves of the same coin. But we see them going on to continue their world domination goal, taking over the military and by extension their satellites. So after influencing and controlling and corrupting the military, Eclipso decides to have them aim their weapons at each other, allowing them to open fire and turn each other into mincemeat. But thankfully, the Man of Steel is there to save the day, as he flies through, stopping each and every bullet. And because this military force is being controlled, Superman doesn't really need to hurt them. So instead, he goes for a clever non-lethal attack, spinning around them at super speed, sucking the oxygen out of their general area, and then blowing them away. And while this is going on here, we see the two other Justice teams, the Justice League and the Justice Society, span out all across the globe, because currently, Eclipso has taken out global power, from Batman and Robin helping people where they can, Dr. Fate, Alan Scott at the Atlantic Ocean, Green Lantern in Chicago, so on and so forth, as they try their best to clean up this global catastrophe. But unfortunately, Eclipso isn't just going to sit by and watch this happen, as instead now he starts to get his dirty little fingers inside of everything, even going on to taunt Batman personally, telling him good luck, but he has his own work to do. Because Eclipso is about to do what Eclipso does best: control and spread chaos to the highest degree. So as we cut over and see Alan Scott and Green Lantern, two different lanterns, working together to power a power plant and keep the lights on, unfortunately this is a time when Eclipso starts to attack. Because what's better than just controlling normal humans with weapons like the military, controlling superpowered individuals with, powers that can induce mass destruction. So he does just that, controlling multiple members from Green Lantern, Jay Garrick Flash, Hawkman, Wildcat, and so on and so forth. But while the heroes are down on one side, it seems like another side is looking up for them, as Batman and Superman corner Bruce Gordon, the other half of the Spirit of Eclipso. As just then and there, Bruce Gordon goes to obliterate the International Space Station, about to kill everybody on board. So Superman, being the only one there to stop it in time, uses his flight, getting right in front of the beam, catching it and delaying it. Unfortunately, this was all according to his plan, as Bruce Gordon, possessed by Eclipso, goes on to say, "Impressive, Superman. Yellow solar energy, it's the source of your powers. While, as I understand, red solar energy leaves you with none," as he changes the attack beam to mimic red sunlight, depowering Superman in possibly the worst situation, because he is in the middle of space, up above Earth with no oxygen and freezing temperatures. So if Superman gets depowered as he is now, this is almost certain death for the Man of Steel within minutes, or even seconds. And with Batman knowing this and watching this all unfold, he starts to panic, calling out to anyone on the Justice League line to come and help. Superman is going to die in space unless someone helps him. Unfortunately, all the rest of the League is busy fighting against, their fellow allies, the Justice Society, as they have been taken over, because none of the other heroes can come help save Superman if they're all fighting for their own lives themselves. And to make matters even worse for Batman, he gets shot in the back as Dr. Fate, being controlled by Eclipso, which for one just goes to show you how powerful Eclipso is compared to the heroes, even Dr. Fate, who was a powerhouse in his own right. But he arrives here to now fight Batman. So right now for the other heroes, it isn't looking good at all. Eclipso has taken over half of the heroes and putting them against each other, while Superman dies in space. Fortunately though, the heroes have a little bit of a savior in the form of the Spectre, who himself is very powerful, even rivaling Eclipso in power here, meaning he can weaken Eclipso's hold on the heroes, allowing them just enough wiggle room to snap out of it, even if not by themselves. But now as the Spectre is finally able to confront Eclipso as equals, he goes on to ask him why. Why does he torment humankind? Because no, Eclipso isn't just like the Joker. He isn't just chaos for chaos' sake. Eclipso has a very specific goal: to drive humanity into his arms, taking out the satellites and causing Chaos over the world is just the beginning. Soon he is going to strip every semblance of civility from humanity itself, reduce them to base animals. So yes, planning to throw the world and humanity into chaos, but not just for chaos' sake, simply to prove a point. Proving that Eclipso's power is absolute, even enough so to take over and influence humanity as a whole. Something that the Spectre, who basically took Eclipso's job as the previous spirit of vengeance, but the Spectre tries to protect humanity, so Eclipso wants to influence and destroy them. With him going on to say, "Fight me all you want. It's pointless. My shadow will continue to sweep this entire planet, ushering in enough turmoil, enough chaos and despair, that even the strongest among you will bow before me." Which, yeah, just sounds intimidating, but unfortunately for Eclipso, there aren't another group of heroes inside of the entire DC universe like the ones on Earth. Certainly not as powerful as a whole either. And as we switch over to see the two different Flashes fighting against each other, Barry Allen and Jay Garrick, we see Barry try to snap Garrick out of whatever hold he is under, telling him that this isn't you, we're not enemies, Eclipso is in his head and playing on its insecurities. No one's trying to replace you, you were the first. You and the Justice Society paved the way for the Justice League. We don't mock you, we revere you. And you know this little pep talk is just enough to break Jay Garrick from Eclipso's hold. Of course, only enabled by the Spectre and basically overpowering to a certain degree Eclipso's magic. But now with the hold weakening across all of the heroes and possibly even the world, we see Batman finally have a plan, telling Dr. Fate to use his magic to teleport Eclipso towards them on his signal. Unfortunately, with everything here, all this magical energies and stuff, it is affecting Dr. Fate, making him weak. But Superman is in space currently right now dying, and they don't have time for weakness. Everything rides on perfect timing, as two things happen simultaneously very fast. On one hand, you have Eclipso fighting the Spectre using one of his sources of power, the Black Diamond that also seconds as a prison that holds him. And on the second side, we see Bruce Gordon, the other half of Eclipso, still shooting the beam into space, weakening Superman and in the process of killing him. But now Batman needs to divert his attention so he can stop doing that and focus on Batman, as he goes on to tell him, "How pathetic, you're nothing but a puppet of a dark god. If you really want to prove yourself, kill me. Take your shot and do your absolute worst." And so, he decides to do exactly that, to try and kill Batman this time instead of Superman, turning around and using his other portion of the Black Diamond to aim the beam at Batman. But Batman was not only expecting this, but this is exactly what he wanted to happen, because as soon as he turns the beam towards him, he signals Dr. Fate now to teleport Eclipso right in front of him into the same vicinity as the two beams start to clash and connect, causing a feedback loop in a ginormous explosion, temporarily knocking them back and stunning them, but also obliterating both halves of the little Black Diamond they had, which is good because they're without an extra power source, but it's bad because that's one of the only things that can contain them. But thankfully, with them stunned, that leaves enough time for Superman to not only regain his abilities, but fly back in at super speeds, grabbing all of the little shattered pieces from the Black Diamond, scooping it up into one hand, crushing it together back into form, and teaming up with Dr. Fate, using Kryptonian might and magic all in one to suck him in and imprison him back within the diamond, as because Eclipso is weakened just enough for this all to be possible. So Superman, using his world-shattering strength, smushes the diamond together, encasing him back within the black prison, essentially ending this Eclipso threat for now. But as always, Eclipso is just too powerful to permanently destroy, so they can only contain and imprison him, never fully defeat him. And so now with the main threat of everything being taken care of, we see the aftermath of everything going on. Firstly, we see just how badly destroyed Solar City is, completely in ruins, but fortunately Batman says Wayne Enterprises is happy to pick up the cleaning and bill, all while we see the Spectre putting Eclipso a place where he can't possibly escape, in the center of the sun itself, which of course, knowing how powerful Eclipso is, and comics in general, of course like a year or two down the line he's going to escape somehow, or someone's going to free him. Either way, he's too powerful to be destroyed here, and can just be delayed until he attacks once more. And now with everything being settled, well, maybe not fully perfect, but as best as things could be, no casualties, still a lot of places in the world in chaos right now, the two Justice teams decide to split ways, going off to finish cleaning up what they can and further protect this world, as we come to the end and finally end off the Shadows Fall entire series. So yes, that was the final part of the Shadows Fall miniseries, and while it had some interesting parts and I think it started off really strong, in my opinion at least, it kind of ended a little weak. It could have added, like an issue or two to build up the stakes, but overall it was still pretty cool seeing the Justice League and the Justice Society having to team up and even go to blows against each other. Though if you have enjoyed, leave a like, or subscribe if you're new and want to see more content just like this. As always, this was the Hero Informer, and thank you for watching.